All right, let's go ahead and start with our last final exam review. Go ahead, watch this video multiple times. Try to go to Google Classroom, look at all the study materials so that you're ready for this final. This final is county made. We don't get to see the question. We don't know what is going to be on it. So this video will be able to help you with just recap, understanding it better. Go back to Google Classroom, look at all the study material, look at your notebook. If you have questions, come ask me. Let's go ahead and start. Canada geography, we start with the capital, Ottawa, right there in the southern of Canada, southeast to be exact. It is in Ontario, as we know. It is this right here. Look like turkey leg. The major feature is Canadian Shield, the U shape right under Hudson Bay, south of Hudson Bay. Great Lakes is the lakes that, of course, that borders United States, Canada. Also, make sure you remember most people live in the 100-mile radius of United States due to job security and better economic choices. Of course, there is St. Lawrence River that connects Canada to Atlantic Ocean, and there's Rocky Mountain, that is a mountain that connects Canada and United States, goes all the way down. For the ocean, on the west coast, there's Pacific, and on the east coast, Atlantic. Again, for easier understanding, we're in Georgia, Atlanta. We're in the east coast, Atlantic, east coast, Pacific, west coast. All right. Now, when it comes to the natural resource, most people live near U.S. border, to be exact, 100 miles. When it comes to resource, timber, oil, wheat, mineral, look at this map to see what do you think the most found natural resources in Alberta is. Yep, the answer will be coal and oil. So when we look at things like this, yeah, it is very important for you to remember timber, oil, with mineral, but make sure you look at the chart, you look at the graph, you look at the image to see what is the question talking about. All right, Canada, government economy. When it comes to government, parliamentary democracy, and constitutional monarchy, what that means is the citizen do not get to vote directly for their leader. They vote for the legislator, which are the lawmaker. Then from there, they're going to be electing the prime minister. So citizen indirectly vote for the prime minister in parliamentary democracy. Constitutional monarchy is very simple. It's a monarchy, but the power of monarchy is being held by constitution, meaning they don't have much power. They're just a celebrity. The monarchs are just there just as a, as a icon of a country. Now, when it comes to Canada, because the king and queen of England does not live in Canada, to represent them, they have what it's called the governor general. Make sure you know governor general's rule, which is representing the monarch. Now, when it comes to economy, Canada has mixed economy, which is close to pure market economy. They have a very high GDP because they invest in education. Again, the healthcare and education in Canada makes their, of course, GDP go up because their literacy rate is going to increase. And of course, that is a investment in human capital. And yes, investing in human capital increase education, which will increase GDP. Next, Canada, environmental issue. Canada has acid rain, and of course, they have the over, over, over mining of a Canadian shield, which of course hurts the environment when it comes to hurting the habitat. No animals live in the Canadian shield as before. Now there's limited animals. And I mean, quite frankly, when you look at the picture, as I showed you guys earlier in the year, there's a lot of holes. Once a beautiful forest filled with trees and grassroots with animal is now a site which is depressing with bunch of money hungry, greedy, industry. We also have deforestation problem, also near the Canadian Shield and all over Canada. Really, there's a lot of trees, so a lot of people cut the tree timber to get timber, natural resource, so that they can, of course, sell, make money. And the real reason, of course, as we know, is because Canada specialize in timber. So, of course, deforestation is one of the biggest issue. When it comes to solution, when it comes to acid rain emission law, because we know the cause of acid rain is car and factory. So, making emission law, having 2030 carbon net zero, so no car that is going to hurt the environment can be produced, replanting trees, and also mine regulation, not allowing companies to just mine wherever and whenever they want. Now we move on to Latin America. When it comes to Latin America, one Andes Mountain on the west coast of Latin America, Amazon rainforest is majority of Brazil, but it's also in multiple countries like Colombia, and of course right here. So make sure you understand Amazon rainforest, mostly in Brazil, but also in different countries in Latin America as well. Amazon rainforest right here, flowing through. And Sierra Madre Mountain is in Mexico, not shown here because this is Latin America, South America, Central America, and of course, Central America and Caribbean, and Mexico is in North America, so it's not shown here, but Sierra Madre Mountain is in Mexico. Atacama Desert, of course, right here, middle of the Andes Mountain. You follow through, it's in Chile, right there. Panama Canal, it is a shortcut for trading made for people to travel quickly from Atlantic to Pacific Ocean. Because if there was no shortcut here, they would have to travel all the way through to cross over to Pacific Ocean. When it comes to countries and their natural resources, Mexico, their oil is very big. Brazil, coffee, and Cuba, tobacco and sugarcane. These are the top. Mexico, oil; Brazil, coffee; and Cuba, tobacco and sugarcane. Let's move on. Environmental issue. When it comes to Mexico City, air pollution is a huge issue because of the Sierra Madre Mountain. Sierra Madre Mountain traps the air, which makes the air pollution trap inside of Mexico, making Mexico City air pollution problem very, very huge. Now, as a solution, they have many things. For example, one day without a car, which when it comes to license plate, they see what number it ends with, and certain license plate cannot drive in certain days. And they also have buses, autobus, where they have more electric buses and more people can, of course, ride the public transports. Amazon rainforest deforestation is one of the main uh, issue when it comes to Amazon rainforest. The reason is logging and farming, mining. They they cause deforestation by a technique called slash and burn. They will slash and burn the forest, making the area clear cut. Another vocab word, clear cutting. So make sure you understand Amazon rainforest is done by slash and burn technique, clear cutting the area, causing deforestation. When it comes to solution of Amazon rainforest, reforestation is huge. Planting trees so that Amazon rainforest can, of course, revive. Having a mission law and having also limit on logging is very important. Let's move on. When it comes to Latin American government, when it comes to Cuba, they have a communist dictatorship. And let's talk about history real quick. Uh, Before this, we had a whole history lesson about Cuban Revolution. Cuban Revolution about how Batista once a dictator of Cuba, was overthrown by Fidel Castro, another dictator. Fidel Castro, when he first came into power, promised everyone, better education and, of course, more rights for women and people of color, and a lot of good things. He promised a lot of good things, but instead, we know what communism really is, which is government controlling over people's life. So Cuba just transformed from a dictatorship to another dictatorship with a different veil, which the veil is a communist veil. When it comes to Mexico and Brazil, they have presidential democracy, and we're going to move on to the next to talk more in detail about their laws. Oh, never mind. I guess let's go ahead and talk about laws right here. So, when it comes to Mexico and Brazil, citizens have almost every right that we have, right? Freedom of speech, freedom of religion, freedom of press. They have the basic human rights. When it comes to Cuba, a there's definitely a gray area when it comes to a citizen. For example, when we talk about voting, we talked about how you can only vote for one party, which is the Communist Party. So that would be the two main difference. Let's go ahead. Economy. When it comes to economy, three different economic system is traditional, command, market, and mix, right? Then let's talk about Cuba and Mexico and Brazil. What do you think Cuba's economic system is? Choose out of three: command, market, or mix. If you said command, you're correct. What about Brazil? Brazil is mixed market, more on the market side. Yes. What about the Amazonian? So Brazilians, but Brazilians that are living in Amazon that still use bartering. Which what is bartering? Yes, bartering is of course trading without money. And the economic system that use bartering, traditional economy. So if you said that, good job. And then we move on to Mexico. Mexico also have mixed market economy, mixed market. I hope it's not too hard so far. I mean, a lot of these stuff we learned in first semester. That's what social study is. Same thing when it comes to seventh grade. You lock in first semester, second semester easy because we learn about the same thing but with different countries. Let's move on to trade and GDP. There's this thing called USMCA that replaced NAFTA. First of all, let's go ahead and talk about the acronym. USMCA stands for United States, Mexico, and Canada Agreement. This is a trade deal that said we're going to cut tariff. We're not going to have any embargo. We're not going to have quota. We're going to trade freely. We're going to make this money. That's what USMCA is. USMCA was replaced. I mean, USMCA is the replacement of NAFTA, which was the North American Free Trade Agreement. Same thing, different name. Now, when we talk about specialization, trade barrier, first of all, specialization. When it comes to Brazil, they have Amazon rainforest. Timber will be their huge one. When it comes to Mexico, we talked about the same thing, oil. Whatever their natural resource is what they specialize in. Let's move on and talk about trade barriers. Tariff, what is it? Tax on imported good. Yes, correct. That means if this uh, soccer ball, as we talked about, whatever soccer ball from Italy, if we have tariff on Italy, that soccer ball is going to have an extra tax in front of it, so the price is going to be more up, so that they can make up for the price. So tariff is tax on imported good. Quota is limit on imported good. That's if, hey, there is 1,000 Italian balls. We're only going to allow to import 500. So they can only import 500. Now, here's the thing. Tariff and quota is used so that it encourage people to buy more of their country's good. So for example, on the Italian, so if an Italian soccer ball has more, it has tariff, so it's more expensive, It is almost as if it's forcing people to buy more, of course, American soccer ball if it's cheaper. That's a problem. If now quota, it's limit on imported good. If we're limiting, we know how limited edition things go. If things are limited, the price go up. It's harder to find things, the price go up. And people are going to buy more of a stuff that is there. That is why when it comes to pencil and things like this, the number one company that produces it is China. So when it comes to it, people always buy the thing that is convenient for them, where there's a lot of supply, because a lot of supply usually mean it's going to be probably cheaper. But what quota does is it puts a limit on it, making those items more expensive, forcing people to buy more of their country stuff. Again, if their country stuff is cheaper, people are going to buy their country stuff. Embargo. Embargo is ban on trade. That means North Korea and United States. We do not like each other. We don't agree on your ideology. We're not going to trade with you. Embargo is complete stop on trade. GDP means I really like you guys' definition this year, which is the income of a country. Is how much country make in a year. And when it comes to GDP per capita, all it is, I mean, you guys learned math, so I hope now you guys know what mean. Mean is an average, right? So what it does is they get the population of the country and they divide that by the GDP. So that is going to give how much does a person earn on average in that country. So again, GDP per capita is per person. When it comes to the last factor of economic growth, when it comes to human capitals are teachers, engineers, factory workers, farmers, people that require education for you to, acquire that skill and put it in work is workers. Capital goods, man-made good, the things that is not from nature, the things that are fabricated, and natural resource things that come from nature. Entrepreneurs, y'all literally just came back from JA BizTown. You guys had fun. Entrepreneurs are, of course, people that makes business, run business. Now, how can we invest in each of these things? Let's talk about that. You invest in human capital by education. You invest in capital goods by purchasing better equipment. You invest in natural resource by, of course, better environmental cycle that is going to help that natural resource grow better. When it comes to investing in entrepreneurship means easier access to opening business, having more of an entrepreneur center so that people can, of course, participate in being entrepreneurs, sharing ideas, making permit more accessible, things like that is investing in entrepreneurship. Let's move on to the next. When it comes to Australia, Coral Sea right here, Great Barrier Reef right there, Uluru Rock is in the middle, also known as Ayers Rock. Great Victoria Desert is down south right here. When it comes to state, Big Four is New South Wales right here. We have, of course, Victoria, Queensland, and Western Australia, really. So now, Australia is between the Indian and Pacific Ocean. Pacific Ocean right here on the east coast, and Indian Ocean on the west coast. Only for Australia. Now, when we talk about Uluru Rock was this spot for the indigenous Australians to, of course, it's their sacred place where they practice their religion Dreamtime, which is passed down. It's a story time of how they thought the earth was created with nature and everything. And we talk about people. Most people live in the city, which is, of course, urban area. Uh, and of course, make sure you understand people live in the coast because it's near the water, more job. It's the temperature is more bearable, because in the center it's all desert. It's hot. It's very hot. But on the coast side, it's calm with ocean. If you guys go near the ocean, it's kind of cooler. So that's why people live there. Better job, better climate. Natural resource, gourd iron, cattle. We talked about cattle. I'm fat. I mean, okay, that's crazy. I love food. Australian beef are great. The cattles, they have great grass. They feed their cows, great cows. Crops and fish. Fish is kind of obvious. They're an island. Fish are all around, as we talked about. Fish, 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 fish. Everywhere got fish. Now, when it comes to trading, they will trade with the nearest country. Now, you need to understand Australia's nearest country is 2,000 miles away. So their nearest, of course, will be East Asian country. Their top trading partner is China, Japan, India, South Korea, and things like that. When it comes to government, they have parliamentary democracy and also a constitutional monarchy. The reason why they have constitutional monarchy as well, influenced by United Kingdom, Britain. And because of that, that is why they still have constitutional monarchy and parliamentary democracy, same as Canada. They have a governor general because monarch, the king and queen of England, do not live in Australia. So they need to have somebody that represents. So they have a governor general that represent the monarch. Now, when it comes to history, Aborigines are the indigenous Australians. They migrated from Southeast Asia 100, 200,000 years ago. And British colonization is when the British, Captain James Cook, he came over to the land of Australia and said, "Yo, King, I got this spot. I see these people. I mean, we can do the same thing that we usually do, take people's spot and, ruin their land. And it's also an island, which means no one can escape. Why don't we use it as a penal colony since we can't use America as place to send prisoners?" England says yes. So they use Australia as a penal colony where they put all the prisoners to, I mean, not all, but they put the prisoners to Australia, and they gave option to the prisoner whether or not you want to stay there or you want to, of course, go back to England. Most of the people says, why would I go back? Yeah, send me here. Due to that, Aborigines started losing more and more and more and more rights because British came with stronger rule. I even gave y'all a analogy. British came basically to my house and told me, "Hey, buddy, by the way, from now on, it's legal for you guys to, hurt Mafuku and beat Mafuku. And by the way, Mafuku, I know this is your house, but you got to sleep in the bathroom now." They were sent and they moved to Uluru Rock, which is a desert in the middle of Australia. Hot, nothing to do. So when it comes to it, a lot of the Aborigines population decreased, also because of the disease that these British people brought. These Aborigines were never used to these type of disease. A lot of them died, being creating the stolen generation, a generation of Aborigines that do not know their history because they were wiped out. They had to be moved to a worse place so that these Europeans could, of course, colonize and have their own spot in Australia. All right, now we're going to move on to economy. When it comes to economy, Australia has a mixed economy, which is close to market. They have high GDP and high literacy rate. Their literacy rate is almost at a 99%, and their natural resource, as we talked about, helps with their high GDP. As you guys can see, Australia trade partner, China, Japan, and India. Well, that's it, man. That's it. That's it. It's done. It's end of the year. Y'all done with language art now, math. Now, social study time. Study smart, study often. I'm putting this right now so that you guys have Saturday, Sunday to study, and also Monday the whole day. Watch this video, go to Google Classroom, look at your note. I don't have a note. Well, it's been good, man. Have a good seventh grade year, and good luck in seventh grade. Be smart.